My name is Rita MacAulay and I work with the Nova Scotia Health Authority in Central Zone in the Halifax region. I think food's been a part of my life since I was born. I grew up on a potato and dairy farm, and so I remember since I've been really little, we got our milk from the barn, we got our potatoes from the building, and I think how I've become more aware of the food and food issues is when that went. So, farms all around from Eastern PEI, and there was farms every few households, and now there's none. And so it's like, what's going on? And the awareness came to both the lack of farming, and also this that so many people in our country can't afford to eat. Having kids, it's such an important piece of how you see your kids daily, because you have to, either they eat or they don't eat, and also you're thinking of their future, seeing all the things that are happening. Food is so fundamental, and how is it going to show up when they're my age? I remember calling Marla about 8 years ago and having the conversation of gosh, I'm hearing about food on the radio. They're talking about it now. And we were just it felt like there was when you get the hook, it felt like it's not just the struggle to get it on the agenda. And that was, I would say, where the market I went to at that time was pretty barren. There wasn't a lot of people. You saw more and more people coming. There's more conversation. And I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, especially in our city, that we had several different significant events to kind of met up in this perfect storm. Although I wouldn't say it was by accident. There's been so much work happening, and it kind of, that window opened, and we were able to have the conversations, especially with the municipality. We had, of course, the Our Food Project they got sustainable funding for 4 years, so it wasn't every year or two wondering if some of these key partners were going to have to go away for a little while. And and the Mount, and then public health, and we had the mayor's office on board. So there was a real coming together, and the Halifax Food Policy Alliance developed. There was a point there that it felt like there was a boom, and there was this synergy of a lot of different things that happened. And I just have this, it feels like for a time there's always that feeling if we don't keep it up, it'll just disappear off the agenda. And now I don't have that feeling anymore. It feels like, if one or, that, we still have to have concerted efforts. We still need our strong partnerships, but this issue is gaining a lot of traction, and people are recognizing the importance of food, healthy food for our communities. And food for all, this food justice side, and also the importance of agriculture, and it's showing up in our kids' lives. It feels like it's getting a foothold. And again, we have a long way to go. We're certainly not there yet, but the moment that we have some of those basic foundations in place, we have the evidence, we have some good partnerships, we have some good political will at this time, that we can capitalize it. So I would say that's probably in the last 3 or 4 years that I've really noticed that. And it's heartening, because this work doesn't always give back. There's a lot of years of not really seeing too much movement. And so I'd say it's probably in 2012 that there was little by little there, and then it just seemed to really explode, especially at the municipal level. I just remember sitting in with our MOH, and we were just sitting in the kitchen. She said, I want to have the conversations. Is this stuff happening? There's this, at the time it was, we were going to get the planner on board. And she's like, I feel like there's a policy window happening. That, she said, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, we can get it on in this RP+5. At the time, I had no idea what that was, but it was, the regional plan. So that was a real memorable moment of when I look back, it felt like the world kind of turned a little bit. Okay, we have in my world, this is this is the time to get this stuff moving. And it was just a January afternoon, and I remember saying, this is what it feels like for a policy window to open. So it was great, and it was just that, like, that readiness. There was readiness at a lot of different levels, and so that was at the municipal level. But we had people mobilized that could bring evidence. We're doing actions. We have people ready that we're doing this work. So you needed all of those pieces, and there's a willingness. We have such good cooperation. It feels like good relationships now with the city, which is great. So awesome. Yeah, I mean, you can have conversations and everybody's kind of talking together and wanting to move forward. It's a willingness to go together. I would like to see our movement take us to a place where our communities, we have healthy, affordable foods that are accessible to all of us, and that it's easier to get healthy foods than it is to get really terrible, kind of not very great foods. I feel like now sometimes it's a struggle to find good foods. So I hope I would love to walk out my door and see big gardens have pop-up stands, places, having food as part of our culture and our soul of our city. Because I feel like food can really be that soul and bring communities together, because there's not focus on what divides us, but I think food is that piece that can bring people together.